It's great to see you as always, David. So talk to me about what you're seeing in terms of pricing pressure. That seems to be really what the street is focusing on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let me back up for a sec. Hey, Julie, first of all, say hi to see you. Great to see you. So here's where I want to start. We just posted the best results of our history. And I mean, we had 16 billion in bookings. That's amazing. We did 828 million rides. That's every single one of those is a ride to get out and about. I mean, that's amazing. And we're GAAP profitable for the first time ever. And we printed $766 million in cash. So that's amazing. So then you say, well, gosh, what's going on? And why is the stock market doing its little kind of freak out? And I think part of what's going on is we did see some changing in pricing right at the end of last quarter. And it's fine with us. We're built for that. Like, we are literally built for that. When prices go down, rides go up, and we have better service than we've ever had. But I think that always gets people a little bit, kind of freaked.
David, it's Josh. It's great to see you. On that
Hey,
issue,
Josh.
though, of pricing softness, and it sounds like it started toward the end of the Q4, what do you see ahead, David? Does that continue?
I mean, look, our pricing strategy is to be competitive and reliable. So competitive means what it sounds like, and reliable means every single time you open the app, we wanted to give you a reliable price. That's why we do things like price lock. We've driven down, prime time surge pricing by hundreds of millions of dollars last year, about 40%. So anyway, that's the sort of environment that we always look to create and to participate in. If somebody else in your marketplace starts to play around with pricing, you got to deal with it, and that's fine. Like, that's, again, what we're sort of built for. I can't really predict exactly the future. I would say there's plenty of demand out there, which is great for the market. We don't really see a need to play with prices much, but if it happens, we respond, and as I say, competitively and reliably.
And you've been talking to us about your price lock feature for a bit now. It sounds like that has been working well for you in order, to help pick up commuters and folks at other times of the day. It sounds like there's some reporting that Uber may be introducing a similar feature. How worried are you about that? Do you guys plan to react in any way?
No, I'm not worried. I mean, so the thing is, you would expect this to happen, right? And I think, I don't want to cast too much shade, but maybe just a tiny little bit. I think, so our service levels, again, I'll start with that. We pick people up on average a minute faster than a year ago and 30 seconds faster than the other guy. Okay, so if that's happening and we're seeing our market share increase year after year after year, then if you're them, what do? Well, maybe you drop prices. Maybe you start, copying other people's features. So I think you're going to see some of that in the marketplace, but our job is to stay ahead, right? So we've already improved price lock a bunch. In fact, we just allowed you to start pausing it whenever you want to and resuming it when you want it again. You can use it 24 hours a day now. We call it price lock around the clock. So, our job is to serve riders and drivers and to connect people, and we're going to keep sort of trying to innovate, and then maybe other people will use that as inspiration, let's say, to try their own thing or to catch up with us.
David, switching gears to another topic, you all do look to be the partner of choice for autonomous vehicle companies. Yeah. So does Uber, David. And some analysts who cover this space, and they cover you, they cover Uber, I have seen them tell their clients they think that Uber is better positioned, and they'll talk about scale, they'll talk about global presence. To that argument, you say what, David?
Yeah, so I say I disagree, and here's why. So particularly on the scale side, we give 800 million rides a year. That's 2 million rides a day. Gosh, that is plenty of scale to generate the type of demand that autonomous vehicles need, who right now are measured in the hundreds. And that's not to disparage at all the work that the autonomous guys have done. It's amazing. But each one of these cars is hundreds of thousands of dollars. They all require custom tooling. They require sensors. So demand generation, we've got, all you need there. And then something we have that nobody else has is fleet management expertise. We've been buying and running, cars on the fleet, about 10 to 15,000 or so, at any given time. And that's everything from maintenance to cleaning to understanding how long repairs should take to figuring out how to keep them back on the road, which is how you make money with autonomous. So I think when we're as you said, Josh, our idea is to become the best partner. And I think with the demand we have, the fleet utilization, and then of course, 10 years of rideshare experience to actually match supply and demand 24/7, I think we've got everything you need to be a great partner.
And David, how do you think of what autonomy is going to do for you all in terms of, in other words, is it going to be a must-have going forward because of your competitors? Is it going to be something that's going to be a profitability driver? Is it going to be a volume driver? How do you think about it?
Yeah, I love this question. So I do think it's going to be a must-have, to be clear. I think I think someday all cars will be autonomous, right? I mean, it might be 10 years down the road, but I think you buy a car 10 years from now that's not autonomous, it'd be like buying a car without headlights, you know? I mean, so I think it's going to be very, very basic. And for that reason, you know, people are going to expect it on a rideshare platform for sure. Now, you know, what we're seeing in the marketplace is kind of interesting. They're fairly small scale tests, right? We're talking about a couple hundred cars here, maybe 500 cars there. But let's look in Phoenix, for example. In Phoenix, our growth is actually growing faster than it is across the rest of the United States, even though it's a very competitive market, including autonomous vehicles. Why might that be? That might be because people come and they take an AV, tends to be a very good experience, but you know, it takes a little longer, it doesn't go everywhere in the city and so forth and so on. And so, you know, people might start there and then they'll come over to Lyft. As I say, we're seeing our share grow there, even as, you know, AVs like Waymo have started to proliferate.
David, a final question, kind of a broader one. I'm always curious just to get your take, David, on the American consumer, because you do have some unique line of sight there. The economic data points we get, David, suggest this consumer is hanging in there, resilient. I'm curious what you're seeing.
We see the same. We see the same. You know, broadly speaking, you know, at the scale we operate in, again, you know, millions of rides every day, we really are very much part of people's lives. You know, it's why Price Lock has worked so well. It's why our on-time pickup promise for airports is so important, because people literally take us to go to the airport hundreds of thousands of times every day. So, you know, I'm sort of pleased to say that we see a lot of strength on the demand side. I will tell you, if you'll indulge me, one 30-second fun anecdote. You know, we see trips to bars, of course, airports, bars, commute, all these different use cases. But because of dry January, we actually saw a drop in trips to bars. It was actually a little greater than it was in prior years. So there's a little consumer insight. I will tell you, however, we just looked at this yesterday, they're back up even a little bit above where they were last year. So we've got pretty good growth right now. So I think that whole dry January thing, it kind of came and went. But big picture, we're seeing, you know, a lot of strength.
David, it is always great to see you, always great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, you guys. Hey, book your Valentine's Day ride out now. Black Card, it's a great experience. Get out there, hang out with your sweetheart.
Consider it done. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Take care, you guys.